God that good is everywhere. Praise to the God we all may share. The life that lives in you and me. Praise to the truth that sets us free.
We are now in the presence of the Trinity, immersed in the Holy Spirit of life, love, and wisdom. We acknowledge thy presence and thy power, O blessed Spirit. In thy divine wisdom now, you erase our moral limitations and from thy pure substance of love, bring into manifestation our world according to thy perfect law. I'm securely in the flow of prosperity when I receive graciously and gratefully and share my abundance generously. Whenever I share with a loving, giving heart, blesses me as much as it blesses the one who receives it. Each time I share my supply, I'm demonstrating my trust that I will always have what I need. When I share myself, I'm living my faith that I am a divine being, empowered with a limitless supply of divine ideas. The richness of an abundant universe flows through me. Knowing this, I don't hesitate to be generous so others will know the abundance of the world as I know it. Through my giving, may they also know the blessings of the awesome power and grace of God as they bless me daily. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit that is from God, so that we may understand the gifts bestowed on us by God. 1 Corinthians 2:12.
There's more than enough I love everything that the choir has sung together. We've sang as a congregation together. The word for today. I mean, it all wraps together to say, yes, there's more than enough. And there's too many we're individual. Okay, let's start this out the right way. Let's say our statement of being together and remind ourselves who we really are, okay? So let's begin. God is all, both invisible and visible, one presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. Do you ever really think about those words? I hope you do, because they are so significant in how you're living your life on a daily basis. This isn't just some platitude to say in church on Sunday morning. This is a statement of who and what we really are. And it's up to us to remember that in our daily interactions and activities. Because so many of the troubles that are taking place in the world today is because people aren't realizing that. They're thinking that there's a limited amount and I gotta get mine before somebody takes it from me. That's what causes wars. That's what causes conflict individually. Yet if we remember that we live in an abundant universe of which we are an individualized expression, there is no lack. There is more than enough. More than enough. Not just enough to go around, not just enough so that some people can have a whole bunch and the rest of us are left scrambling for the scraps. There is more than enough. And that's not the topic of my talk today, yet it fits in perfectly. I came, well, as you probably know, this after church today, after we have our fellowship and eat our cookies and enjoy our coffee together and enjoy some time just chatting with one another, I'm going to be offering a learning opportunity based on the book by Dolly Chu entitled The Person You Mean to Be. And we are individualized expressions of God, and at the same time we live in this human form. And while we're living in this human form, we all want to be seen as the best that we can possibly be, right? And one of the things that this book talks about is we are all good people, and still the author talks about, rather than trying to look at ourselves as quote-unquote good all the time, why can't we look at ourselves as good-ish? I mean, think about it. If you are perfect, raise your hand. You are perfect as a human being. Well, I don't know about you, but I make mistakes. I say the wrong thing wrong time. I hurt other people's feelings. I don't necessarily mean to. In most cases, when that happens, unless I'm angry and I feel threatened, which is something else that she talks about. When we feel threatened, we do and say things that we would not normally do and say. And when I feel threatened, I can say some pretty ugly things, both to myself and to other people. And I wish I could say that I had never done it in my life, or I could say, well, you know, now that I've been to ministerial school and I'm a licensed duty minister, I don't do that anymore. Baloney. Baloney. I am not perfect. We are human. As long as we are humans, we are going to make mistakes. However, in our innermost beingness, guess what? Every single one of us is perfect. Because we are divine, individualized expressions of that one presence and power. And what I entitled my talk today is Called to Be. And that is what we are called to be. We are called to be as perfect while we are in this human form as we can be in the essence of our, as we already are, in the essence of our being. And that's a tall order, being who we are called to be. And our licensed unity teacher, Linda Ridley, she loves music, and she especially loves the music of unity and new thought. And one of the singers in a group called Empower is a lady by the name of Faith Rivera. And if you get a chance, see this, again, you know me, I'm a broken record if nothing else. Once we have the TV up there, I would play you this song by Faith Rivera entitled Called to Be. Because the words to this song really express everything that I want to say in this message. I am called. And now, when we say I am, what does that mean? That's who we are, right? Who we are individually. So when I say I am, I'm not talking about Anita. I want you to hear it as I am individually. Does that make sense to you? You get where I'm going with that? So listen to all these things as who you are. I am called to be a healer for all humanity. I am called to be a dreamer, believe in what can be. I am called to be a maker, an instrument of peace. I am called to be a giver of abundance I receive. I am called to be a prayer, living out the truth I seek. I am called to be everything I am called to be. And there are many more lyrics that I'm going to share with you throughout the time that I'm speaking here, because I want us to really get how the truth of these words and to really feel it. I mean, the word for today is generous. The abundance of the world flows through me. The only way, and I'm going to keep repeating this stuff probably every week because it's so important for us to realize that we are the hands and feet of that one presence and power. It can do all things. And how does it do those things? Through each one of you. So if we want to see things get better, whether it's in our own, especially in our own lives, where does it have to start? It has to start with us. It has to start in our own minds and hearts. Because when we think about how terrible things are, we're not really helping it get any better. When we think about what we can do to help, then we are part of the process of improvement. We are generous. We are the abundance of the world, and the abundance of the world flows through us. You know, when I started ministerial school, one of the first things that I had to do, actually it was on my application for ministerial school, I had to write what was they called the summary of my calling. And I thought, boy, that'll be interesting. Based on the title of this talk, we are all called to be. And it's not just about ministerial school. It's not just about unity. It's about what is the calling of our lives. It is a process of recalling and writing down what is it that stirs you, that moves you. If there was something you could do that would make a difference in one person's life, it doesn't have to be a global project. Just that one thing that only you can do. Because it's an individualized expression of that one presence and power. You are unique. You are unique in your abilities, and you are the only person that can do what you are meant to do. So many of us aren't doing that. And I want to see the people in this church just thrive. I want you to be abundant. I want you to be healthy. I want you to be happy. I want to see you smiling all the time. And even when the things happen that are going to take that smile away from us, I want us to be so strong in our conviction that that power and presence that lives in, through, and as us is going to take this situation, as bad as it might look to another human being who doesn't know what we know, then that divine presence and power is going to take this and it's going to make it phenomenally good. Because that's what that presence and power does. It makes all things, all, A-L-L, capital letters, bold, italics, underline, whatever, big font, makes all things work together for our highest good. Do you believe that?
Yes.
Thank you. Somebody does. Because if you don't believe that, guess what? When the troubling things happen, you are going to be troubled. But if you know without a shadow of a doubt deep down inside that all things are working together for my highest good, you're going to say, boy, it sure looks pretty awful right now. Yet I know, I don't see a way. I don't see a way. But there is a way, because there's a presence and power greater than me that can work through me, as me, and make things work together for my highest good. You know, I do a lot of reading and a lot of book buying. And this little book, one of my many favorite authors, Neil Donald Walsh. It's called, I mean, this is so perfect. It's called The Essential Path, but the subtitle is Making the Daring Decision to Be Who You Truly Are. And I would highly, highly recommend it's a little book. You can get it on thrift books for probably $5 or less. And the idea is living our lives as those individualized expressions of that one presence and power. And I gotta share this with you. If human beings simply decided that we are both spiritual beings and one being, individualized expressions of the one presence and power, right? Our ideas about life could include these things. 1, life is an experience with a purpose greater than mere survival. I mean, I know there's been times in my life that it felt like, oh, I just gotta make it through till tomorrow. 2, everything that is occurring, both in our individual lives and in our collective experience, is serving that larger purpose perfectly. Now might not be as easy, considering everything that's going on in the world today, to believe. But if we knew that even these horrible wars, even the horrible things that are happening to individuals and individual lives, if we knew that it was serving that larger purpose of this divine, loving spirit that makes all things, capital A, bold letters, big font, etc., work together for our highest good, could we not live through even these experiences a little more easily? Number 3, our experience of life is controllable to a much greater degree than we might have imagined. What do we teach in unity? What is our fifth? Well, we have 5 principles. God is good all the time, right? I am an individualized expression of God, therefore, I also am good. I think that's where we begin to realize our control. Because we do have control of our thoughts. Sometimes we don't think that we do. Sometimes we think that our thoughts are just things that are roaming around in our head, and we're like, oh, where did that come from? It came from our subconscious mind. Because our subconscious mind is filled with hundreds and hundreds of thousands of things that we've forgotten. And when we realize we can control our thoughts and we can choose our beliefs, we can choose to say God is good all the time, even in this terrible situation situation, that's when we begin to take control. And then, of course, I pray. That is another way in which we take control. We control our thoughts and our minds and our hearts, and we can't always control outer circumstances. What we can do is go within and know that within, in that secret place of the Most High, all things are possible. That presence and power that can do for us what we cannot do for ourselves is readily available to us. So we go within and we ask, we seek, we knock. I mean, that's what I'm saying. What the choir sang this morning was absolutely perfect. Because the universe said, it is. We ask and the door is open. We seek and we find. Because we know that God is good all the time. And we increase that presence and power in our lives by going within and communicating and strength. How do we strengthen our muscles? By exercise. So how do we strengthen our connection with that presence and power? Exercise. And prayer and meditation is the exercise that strengthens that connection. And then, last and certainly not least, we take action. We know we have more control because we can control our thoughts. We know that there are things that we cannot do as humans, yet we also know there is a presence and power living through us as us that can do all things. So we give that presence and power more room to operate in our lives. We increase our connection through prayer and meditation. And then we take action. You know, all these wonderful sayings are swirling through my mind. Yet, they all come down to the same thing. You might not know what to do, but if you take a step, just a tiny step, you will be guided. Because that presence and power knows what we don't know. Number 4, every event brings us a benefit in some form. It is not, number 5, it is not required, I like this one, it is not required for life to include suffering. You know, now that is not to say that things will not go wrong. Who knows the difference between suffering and not liking what's going on? Do you know the difference? Yes. I mean, you may not like what's going on, but that doesn't mean you have to be miserable about it. That doesn't mean that you have to get out the cat of nine tails and start flogging yourself on the back. You know, because things have been done to other people in this country over the years that are downright ugly, doesn't mean that we have to suffer because of it. For me, it means that I want to be part of the change. I went to a Koch Chamber of Commerce meeting for the first time last week, and I met a young lady in her 20s, just cute as a button, sweet. She's a real estate agent, and she's only been in real estate for 5 years, and yet she's one of the top 10 or 20 in the nation for her company. And so if you're ever looking for a real estate agent, we got a good referral for you. When I talked to her on a more personal level, however, she told me that she says, well, when I came down to this part of Michigan, and I said, oh, where did you come from? She said, Sault Ste. Marie, I'm part of, and I don't remember the tribe, but she is a Native American Indian. I don't think I've ever done this before in meeting a person, but the very first thing I said to her, the very first thing that came out of my mouth is, oh, I am so sorry for what has been done to your ancestors. Because there have been terrible, awful things that have been done in this country to people and communities. And pretending that it didn't happen, whitewashing over it, acting like, oh, well, I mean, I benefited from having white skin, but that's not that big of a deal. Oh my gosh, people, again, I have a little short clip I'd like to share with you.
It's coming.
Yeah, I know. But this clip, and I'm actually going to show it in class, it's about 2 minutes long. It's a bunch of high school kids, and they're standing in a field with their instructor. And he says, okay, folks, we're going to run a race, and I got a $100 bill right here for the winner. Pretty excited for a bunch of high school kids, wouldn't you think? So he says, but before we start the race, we got to do a few things. So, if your parents are still together, take 2 steps forward. Pretty good number of kids took 2 steps forward. If your parents or grandparents owned their own home, take another 2 steps forward. It went on like this with question after question after question. Things that we take for granted. That I can walk into a store and get what I need and nobody questions whether I'm going to, if I hand them a $100 bill, unless it's their store protocol, they're not going to look at me and look at the $100 bill and wonder whether or not it's real. I have the privilege of, not that I ever speak. Me? Who, me? Ask Mike, he'll tell you. But he'll tell you the truth. Anyway, if I have the privilege of knowing that if I ever get pulled over, I may or may not get a ticket, first of all, because I've talked myself out of a few. And I have the privilege of knowing that if my taillight is out, it's probably going to be, lady, you need to get that taillight fixed, have a nice day. Or maybe I'll get a ticket that says, get your taillight fixed, show this to the whoever you go to, and you're good to go. I don't have to worry whether I'm going to go to jail or get beaten up. But you know today, and we know this is true because we see it all the time, it happens to people. It happens to people of color, it happens to women, it happens to boys. Young boys. And these are the kinds of things that we forget, that we are so privileged this is not a comfortable conversation. And sometimes, not sometimes, almost all the time, if we don't have these uncomfortable conversations, then things aren't going to get better. We are either part of the problem or part of the solution. And I believe it with my heart and soul, that the people in this room want to be part of the solution. You are called to be a mother, to nurture family. You are called to be a brother, a strength in time of needs. You are called to be a neighbor, see a friend in all you meet. You are called to be a leader, to build community. You are called to be a prayer, living the truth you seek. You are called to be everything you are meant to be. Namaste. It's time for our meditation. And I would apologize for making you uncomfortable, but that was my intention. So, I'd like to take that discomfort and use it. Use it to be part of the change that needs to occur in this country. And the biggest way to do that is to remember who you truly are. And that you are called to be the very best version of that individualized expression of God on this earthly plane that you can possibly be. And it might mean speaking up rather than remaining silent when you hear or see something that you know is wrong. It might mean putting yourself into an uncomfortable position so that you can be part of the change we seek. So let's take a few moments and go into that presence and power and ask, what can I do? Ask, where shall I go? Ask, what is my part to play? And how can I contribute? So let's take a few moments with those questions in our minds and hearts and know that the Divine Spirit, we feel that presence and power in every cell of our physical form. And know that that presence and power is meant to be used for good. And we are so grateful knowing that we are blessed to be in a position where we can go forth and do what we have been called to do and be who we have been called to be. And we know that presence and power living in us, through us, as us, will not always lead us down the easiest path. But we know that it is there with us every step of the way. And we are so grateful for that knowing, so grateful for all we've been given, and so grateful to move forward as this individualized expression of the one presence and power of love. And together we will sing and we will pray the Lord's Prayer. And now it's time for our tithes and offerings. And today's word is generous. I am securely in the flow of prosperity when I receive graciously and gratefully and share my abundance generously. Daily word. Interesting. So let's take our gifts in our hands and repeat our prayer. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give joyfully and easily, for the universe is my source, and abundance is my nature.
Let there be peace on earth, and it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Mountains walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
Together. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over